the place for national brands like Scott's and Miracle Grow and local expertise to help you grow the lawn and garden you've always wanted, only at Ace, the helpful place. And I'm Machine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
Wow! I feel good.
Hello, this is the Cindy's Choice Show on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Nooga Radio. And I'm Cindy. And Cindy's Choice is to make a difference, mainly with economic development, and we're going to talk a whole lot more about that. But first, I want to say hello and welcome Russell Stroud, and a very big thank you for being here with me today.
Sure, no problem. Happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to have Russell here. He's the news director here at Nooga Radio, and my tech support for sure as we get used to this. And again, thank you, Russell. And this is the first show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Hang in here with us. This is going to be kind of the foundation of just talking a little bit about Cindy's Choice and what the show is going to be about. Future shows, it will be a very entrepreneurial focused, very business focused show. We'll vary a little bit at times. There's a lot to encompass with business. There's a lot more involved than we realize. It can even get real personal sometimes. You hear that a lot about dividing personal from business, but I don't think so. Business gets very personal, and that will happen on this show. So we just hope that you stay tuned. A quick shout out, Cindy's Choice, for a great catering selection is Chicken Salad Chick, a sponsor of Cindy's Choice. Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com. Wonderful catering options. Try it, 423-781-1330. There's a downtown and an East Brainerd location. There'll be a future guest on the show. They're a wonderful, inspiring story of how Chicken Salad Chick got started and how the brave owner, Josh Patton, franchise owner, started the first 2 locations in Tennessee. So look for that in a future show. But first, let's start out. Russell, I'm going to start out with talking about the why of Cindy's Choice. Why entrepreneurship? Why help businesses? And I'm going to start out there with some statistics. When I mention statistics, nowadays I don't notice people refer to where their statistics come from so much. I think because we can so easily Google and get this information that it's not as necessary. But I will let most of my stats come from Inc., Forbes, Bloomberg, Small Biz Trends, your most common places that if anybody wants to check on my stats, and I welcome you to correct me on anything that I ever miscommunicate. But the big stat to start with for me is most of my adult life, I've always heard that 10% of the population are entrepreneurs.
That's a pretty good number.
Yeah. And actually, what's happening right now is that's increasing. It's most of the stats I've looked up say more like 12 to 14% of us are entrepreneurial. And that's growing with over 50% of that population desire and 80% of them taking steps toward entrepreneurship. Again, I want to tell you, 50% of us out there are capable and are interested in some kind of entrepreneurial pursuit. And right now, with the trend, about 80% of that 50% are actually contemplating some kind of step in that direction. Now, this is interesting because a consistent stat that has stayed the same for a very long time is that 40% of existing businesses make a profit. That's just 40%. 30% break even, and 30% are losing money. So with all these more entrepreneurs coming on board, what's going to happen with that stat? that means more coming on board, more failing.
Right. And you got to have people who are going to learn what it's like to fail.
Exactly. Well, there's a positive, if you ask me. We do. That's you're talking to a serial entrepreneur here, and that's why I can be successful, is because I've learned how to fail. But that's what Cindy's Choice is about, is those statistics right there. We're finally getting people on board, more people on board with entrepreneurship, giving them that confidence. And I want to help them succeed. The timing, and that more entrepreneurs than ever, the statistics for success are still abysmal. That's the bottom line there. And Cindy's Choice is to make a difference with that. Another why, the importance of marketing. The reason, there's lots of reasons why only 40% of businesses are making a profit. I didn't recheck this particular stat, but I think only 4% of businesses have employees. And that's when we talk about entrepreneurship, we're also talking about workforce development. I'm all for more people doing their own thing and being independent and entrepreneurial, but a lot of that is about providing more jobs. And a lot of these businesses, Russell, they don't understand the importance of marketing. There's a lot of businesses that they put a lot of money in finishing out their space. Restaurants come to mind where they want all the right equipment, and they got great recipes, and they put all this money into developing their space, and then they open their doors expecting people to just come.
You can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it doesn't really matter. Exactly.
And from my experience, my vast experience, I'm not ready to date myself on here yet, but marketing is, in a lot of small businesses, is looked at as kind of a necessary evil.
Really, a necessary evil? I wouldn't think of it as that way.
Businesses hate paying for marketing.
Weird.
Well, it's because marketing is an investment. It's that, you've got to, and you have to wait on that return. When you're a business owner and you're having money go out in so many different directions, that's the hardest thing to do, is let go of that money that you're not seeing the immediate return for. And what's crazy now is technology has complicated marketing so much for small businesses. And that's a lot what Cindy's Choice is about as well, is simplifying it, because at the core, and we'll talk more about the concept later, but at the core of Cindy's Choice is relationships, and nothing beats relationships. And I'm here on the radio because my relationship with you guys, it's I'm really, Nooga Radio sees the vision, and other TV and the TV and the Nooga Radio are recognizing the help that Cindy's Choice is going to be to small businesses. And when we can start increasing the bottom line for small businesses, that means we can expand the marketing budget. And then what happens then is, not only are businesses able to have some affordable marketing, but marketing that helps them build their bottom line and build their marketing budget is going to allow them to add more technology, to add media advertising and radio and so forth. So there's a lot of layers to this, and that's a lot why I need a show. I need this platform to help everyone understand what an awesome concept that this is, and how much it's going to help small businesses. And the timing is perfect, because we have more people wanting to be entrepreneurs than ever, and it's time for something that really helps.
It's good that people are wanting to be entrepreneurs, but what I'm worried about is people don't know how to be entrepreneurs.
Thank you. And that's a lot too what part of my vision. And speaking of vision, I want to throw that out there. You'll hear me talk a lot about, I am a visionary. I'm all over the place. I have notes in front of me to help me stay focused, but there are so many ways that I have lined up to help that I do get off on a rabbit trail quite often. But I do have my notes, and I'll get back focused. If you're hanging with me and I get off in left field, just hang with me another minute and I'll get back on track. But yeah, you're right. It's and that's something I'm working on as a curriculum, as kind of an introduction or an exploration of entrepreneurship. There's a lot of support out there, and that'll be future guests on my show. I can't wait to have folks from the incubator on. They do a great service in helping entrepreneurs. Lots of success stories and I'll be having some of them on the show. And they're just in what they do with the incubator itself, giving affordable office space. And then you're there in a very nurturing, supportive environment. That in itself is just huge. But Cindy's Choice can even go beyond that and complement what they're doing with another service that's shared economy related, which we all know about the shared economy.
Well, can you explain what the shared economy is briefly?
Well, okay, we're all familiar with what's going on with Uber, Airbnb, Bellhop's right here out of Chattanooga. Bellhop's formed. It's a
cool company.
Very cool company. Green Commute is right here in Chattanooga, and I think the only other place they are is LA.
I think so, yeah.
And that's if you're not familiar with Green Commute, it's a shared electric car. Just like the little bike stations we have all around town, shared bikes, you can share cars. Which is, I think there's one out at the Southern Adventist. I don't know if they have one at UTC, but I know they have one it's hard to find a car at the Southern Adventist right now because they're used so much. And there's one at Coolidge Park, and I'm not sure where the other stations are. But it's a wonderful idea when you're crowded downtown areas or places where there's limited transportation. You can ride your bike, but then if you do need a car for something, you just go stick your credit card in the machine and you've got a car for a couple hours.
Yeah, and it lowers the cost too because you don't have to pay for having a car.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Exactly. That's the whole key thing is the savings with these shared economy concepts. Office space. Oh my goodness. We've always done that. There's always been concierge floors where you could just rent office space and then you shared the receptionist and the office equipment and so forth like that. And that's like with the Tomorrow building downtown, what they're doing there, actually shared living space. That is huge for entrepreneurs. You've got to live small when you're building a business. And so that's the shared economy, and consumers are just eating it up. And it's good for businesses too. And that's what Cindy's Choice is. It's a shared marketing management for businesses. And again, we'll get more and more into that as we talk more. But I want to get back to a little bit more about the why. We hit on statistics, which are, like I said, consistently not good for the success of a entrepreneur. We've hit on the importance of marketing and how many don't understand that. But it's also about helping people like me. And at some point, I've shared with Sab on another show a little bit about my story. But I have a story of working my way out of poverty. And that's a lot what Cindy's Choice is about. Is if you've got a network of support, you can work your way out of poverty. And I'm one of those. I've found my way to freedom through God and not government. And it's not that I'm anti-government. I've depended on the government at times. I've got my single mom story and major illness story and so forth like that. But I didn't want to make that my lifestyle. I didn't. And I made some brave decisions in order to not do that. And now I'm ready to help others understand and give them help in doing that for themselves. And then the other, still related to the story, is the why behind Cindy's Choice is turning the pain and passion into purpose. It's really simply put, it's about fulfillment. I am stepping into my destiny, living my dream of helping people in a great capacity. And I've made some brave choices in order to do that. And I'll share more with that. So let's just say that's why I need my own show. I got lots to talk to you about. But when the time is right, I'll share more about that as well. But right now you're listening to Cindy's Choice Show on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. This is Nooga Radio. And I am Cindy, talking about how Cindy's Choice is to make a difference. And again, we're mainly focused on economic development. And Russell had asked me more about the concept, the shared economy we're talking about. And we mentioned the success of Uber, Airbnb, Bellhop's right here in Chattanooga, Green Commute, and so forth like that. And that the Cindy's Choice concept is shared marketing management for businesses. And what this is we're grouping businesses that complement each other and have the same target market so they can share marketing resources. Now, this isn't anything brand new. But there's just a different approach here with the network and the way we're going to do it. The key word is management. I'm sure, Russell, you're familiar with lots of times of ways that this is done, where people share a marketing representation, or they share marketing resources.
Oh, sure. When two companies will sponsor something and they'll pool the resources to pull off a good event or that kind of thing. Sure, that happens all the time.
Yes, it's done all the time. And but what's a little bit different with Cindy's Choice is I'm going to take this concept and create these verticals of businesses, and we're going to create this network that will just the more that's added, the more is there to help people with. When you have a small group together and you're sharing, well, then that's a great benefit, and that's going to increase your bottom line and have a lot of added value. But when you create multiple of these verticals and they're all connected, oh my goodness.
You can have some really powerful marketing going on there.
Exactly. And that's what this, I like that. I'm going to go with that, power marketing. And that's exactly what happens, because mainly the resource that Cindy's Choice is focused on is sharing an employee. And we're getting into some serious cost here when a business starts talking about adding an employee. Another statistic I can throw out there is the average cost of an employee for the state of Tennessee is $40,000 to $45,000.
No, that's good for the employee, but
exactly. I mean, right off the bat, you're like, wow. So how does a small business that's just growing and they're just getting to the point where, especially when it comes to marketing, because you've got to add this, you're having to pull away from the marketing. You're having to pull away from relationships that you've been developing. And if you're plugged into the chamber or the organizations and the associations and so forth that you're involved in, and you have to start pulling away, well, you need someone else out there to keep building that pipeline and cultivate those relationships. And you're looking at adding, $40,000-$45,000. But the kicker is it's going to cost you way more than that employee salary. You're going to invest in training. You're going to invest you've got the taxes and the insurance.
I was going to say insurance is a huge chunk of that.
Exactly. You've got not just the time, the management time, but the management headaches. It's hard. It's hard to manage employees. It's
what do you do when the guy needs a day off? You need him.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it comes to marketing, you've got the expenses. You've got to pay for their gas. You've got to pay for their food and their entertainment. You've got to go join things for them to get involved in. It's a very costly venture to add a marketing employee. And that helps to explain the statistics of why 40% of businesses are making a profit. 30% are break even and 30% are losing money. How do you get to the point to add that person that's going to help bring back business so that you can grow your business and break through that break even ceiling?
And I'm not going to name names, but I've been downtown and I know quite a few people who run businesses. A lot of my friends growing up, they decided to start their own businesses and they look really good. You walk into their buildings, it's amazing, but they're barely paying rent.
Oh yeah. And that's a lot too with my personal story. I'll touch on it just a little bit because that brings up something that's very common. Part of my personal story is I actually lived homeless on the streets of Chattanooga. And people are, their chins will drop when I tell them that. They're like, whoa, you don't look like somebody or act like somebody that would have been homeless.
Yeah.
And what I tell them is, I go, the statistics aren't true about homelessness. There are a lot of people, just like you said, the businesses that, look it up front, but then there's all these issues in the back of the house. Well, that's the same thing with people. There's a lot of people out there couch surfing, as I had to do for a while to get out of homelessness. There's that they can present themselves very well. They're very capable. And they're out there doing what it takes, to get by. But behind the scenes, they're on the edge. And it's when you're teetering right there, and you get pushed the wrong direction, it's a hard journey back. I mean, once you're to the point of homelessness, it doesn't matter how capable you are, how accomplished, what kind of education you have, what you've done in the past. You have a long road ahead of you. And this could take us on one of those rabbit trails I could get all into, all the issues with, inner city and people stuck in circumstances. And that's a lot what Cindy's Choice is about. is there's a lot of very capable people out there that are capable of not just starting a business and having a business, but would make wonderful employees for businesses. But they are stuck in circumstances that are holding them back, and they need a network of support. And again, that's something that we will touch more on. But right now, I just want to remind you, you are watching or listening. We're not watching. Well, you can watch later on YouTube, right?
You can watch now on YouTube.
Yeah, you can. Here, I'm waving in case you are watching. But this is Cindy's Choice Show on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Nooga Radio. I love saying that. I'm going to say it again. Nooga Radio. And I am Cindy. And Cindy's Choice is to make a difference. And we're kind of just trying to lay the foundation for the show and help you to understand how we're going to be about that. And still sticking with the concept, I want to talk about added value. The wonderful thing about a shared economy concept is, especially with the model that I have, is you're paying a subscription price. You know what to expect every month. There's no commissions. There's no expenses. There's no surprises. You pay your price every month, and you're getting a full-time service back at about a 75% savings on average. But what happens, the longer you stay with the program and the more people that come on board, there's all this added value of so much more that can happen, but your price never goes up. And that is huge. That's huge. What happens with a lot of businesses is they try to pay an employee, and they go through a couple, and after they've invested in training and so forth like that, they just can't anymore. So that's when they go to the commission paid employee. Are you familiar with commission paid sales?
Very, extremely, yeah.
Yes, it's such. That first year for commission paid person is just so tough.
It's rough, yeah.
And most of them don't make it. It takes a good year to build a pipeline.
And most people don't want to get into that. It's hard to find people who want to work for commission.
Yes, because that was me. I was a commission paid salesperson. I'm like, why am I doing this for them? If I could do this, if I can go build this for them, I can build this for myself. So that's very dangerous territory for a business now to have commission paid employees. But again, that's another way that Cindy's Choice can help, and we'll get more into that. But what ultimately, one of the added values that I love about Cindy's Choice is the branding, because at first it starts out, Cindy's Choice is just helping to build the pipeline and cultivating the relationships on behalf of a group of businesses. But as this added value is added, then that business can start adding the technologies and the media and so forth. And they can afford to get on the radio and have their name heard 50 times a month or whatever it might be, so that people start getting familiar with them. But it's all built on the solid foundation of relationships. And this is key, Russell, because this is what we're getting away from. My personal story and my business story are both about isolation. Isolation is detrimental. And we have more fatherless families. We have more people that are out there that are raised alienated. And that's a key issue. And we're going to touch more on that when we come back. We're going to take a little break here. But again, this is Cindy's Choice Show, and we're on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. I so thank you for listening. And we'll be back shortly to extend on this. Again, I am Cindy, and Cindy's Choice is to make a difference.
And how can we get in contact with you, Cindy?
Email me at cindy@cindyschoice.com. Call me 423-661-4445. As you can tell, I like to talk, and I'm eager to share. 423-661-4445.
And what's that email one more time?
That's cindy@cindyschoice.com.
There you go.
Thanks, Russell.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Need a tiller to get things going for the spring? Spiff up your porch, maybe your deck? Come on by and get a pressure washer at Action Rental. Family in town, need some tables and chairs for an event? Come on by and see us. Action Rental. This is Dan at Action Rental on Lee Highway. Come by and see me. Action Rentals.
iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com, Chattanooga's premier house buyer. Do you have a house you need to sell fast? We are buying. Call us today. We are local folks. We will buy your house as is, no repairs needed. We will give you a cash offer and close on the day of your choice. Call us right now, 423-834-7321. Need to sell a house fast? We are buying. Are you experiencing one of these situations? Inherited a house you have no need for? Behind on your property taxes? Nightmare tenants making your life miserable? Too many repairs needed and don't have a desire to fix? Behind on payments and facing foreclosure? Recently divorced and need a way out of the house? Never really wanted to be a landlord and just want to cash out? Trying to relocate and need to sell your house? Do you need to sell a house fast? We are buying. No fees, no hassles, no repair costs. Close on the day of your choice. Our process is simple. Call us today. We inspect your property right away. We make you a fair cash offer. We close on the day of your choice. Call us today, 423-834-7321. Visit our website, iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. Call us today, 423-834-7321. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com.
Need windows? Hey folks, do you need new windows? Good news. Window Depot of Chattanooga has a great special going on right now. 10 high-quality, energy-efficient double-hung vinyl windows installed for only $29.90. That's right, 10 double-hung vinyl windows, only $2,990. And yes, they qualify for the TVA rebates. Call 894-0011. Window Depot of Chattanooga today, located at 5950 Shaliford Road. Call 894-0011 today.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
A body was found on East Brainerd Road just after a shots fired call was reported to police, but the body of 20-year-old Marcus Bradfield doesn't show any piercings by bullets. The medical examiner has been called in to determine the cause of death. Both eyewitnesses and the police reported hearing gunshots fired. A man was shot in the hand on Dodds Avenue in an apparent drive-by shooting. Baldwin says he was just walking to his car when another car pulled up beside him and somebody inside fired shots. He was hit in the hand. Nobody else was struck. The gunman has not been found, and the Violent Crimes Bureau is investigating. A car smashed into a power substation on Crabtree Road, and the driver had to be cut out by the Dallas Bay Volunteer Fire Department. He's been rushed to the hospital. EPB had to shut the power off to the power station before more damage was done. TBI put out an endangered child alert, and now the missing child has been found. 13-year-old Matthew Hancock found safely at his friend's house. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
You expect lots of sunshine and much warmer weather out there through your afternoon. High soaring into the mid and upper 80s tonight. Clear, not as cool, lows closer to 60. For Tuesday and Wednesday, feeling more like summertime, looking dry with lots of sunshine and highs into the upper 80s to near 90. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. It's also the place for national brands like Scott's and Miracle-Gro and local expertise to help you grow the lawn and garden you've always wanted, only at Ace, the helpful place. And I'm Machine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocked him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
Hey, AM 1240 and the 92.7 FM listeners. This is Nooga Radio, and this is the Cindy's Toy Show. And I'm Cindy, and this is a brand new show. We're just getting started out. Cindy's choice is to make a difference, and I've been talking to Russell Stroud, our news director, about that. And I want to thank him again for being here.
Sure.
a lot as my technical support.
Everybody needs it first time around.
There you go. I might need you a few times.
That's okay.
Hang with me, all right?
I'll be here all day.
But hey, just to recap real soon, we are talking about the show having an entrepreneurial and a business focus. Economic development is a huge passion. There's a lot behind the motivation of Cindy's Choice. We touched on statistics a little bit, which is, I won't go over all that again, but 40%, 30%, 30%. 40% of businesses make a profit. Of existing businesses right now, folks, only 40% of them are really making a living and making a profit and able to employ people. And really only 4% of total businesses are employing people. 30% break even and 30% are losing money. And we touched on part of the reason for that is the importance of marketing, is where Cindy's Choice has an innovative new concept that's going to be able to help with that. We touched on helping people like me, helping people to work their way out of poverty or make a huge dent in economic development. Another purpose or the why behind Cindy's Choice, turning pain and passion into purpose. It's about fulfillment. I have a story that I'll share more as we get to know each other. I'll share more about that story. And then Cindy's Choice is about choices, the importance of our choices. Choices are crucial in our personal lives and in our business lives, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You're not just making choices for you. It's the same as being head of a household. You're not just making choices for you. It affects your whole family. If you're the patriarch of that family, it's your family and all the families in your family network. For an entrepreneur, it's the same. Every choice is crucial, and it's not just about you. It doesn't just affect you. So that's a lot about what Cindy's Choice is about. I've made some hard choices. And again, I'll share that, how I've developed in making choices and how that's led me to help others make good choices and become entrepreneurs or be successful business owners. Ultimately, me choosing to have the courage to face my fears has empowered me to serve others to a greater capacity and truly make a difference. And like I said, I talked to Sab on the show before, and I brought it up here with Russell a few minutes ago. Oh, by the way, did I tell everybody Russell's with me? Did I remind them that Russell's here?
I think so. At some point. I don't know.
Hey, Russell, I'm waving at Russell. Because I'm a jump in kind of girl, you guys. I jump in there and get it done. So I'm getting this done. But that's a lot what this is about. I touched on my story of being homeless and working my way out of poverty. It's something I'm very experienced with because of hardship as a child, as a single mom. Hardship with illness, having to give up my children and not being able to take care of myself. There's I know what I'm talking about. That's what that story is about. And again, this is a relationship I have with you here on this show. And as that relationship's developed, I will share more and more about that with you.
One thing I want to say real quick is you can actually watch us live on YouTube. And not many radio stations do this, but you can watch us live on YouTube. All you need to do is go to YouTube, search for Nooga Radio, and you can watch our live stream right there. So you can see Cindy and myself.
Thank you, Russell. And that's why when I say I'm waving at Russell, I know I'm on radio, but this is on film too. So let's get back to the concept. That's what Russell was bringing attention to, and we talked about this as a shared economy concept. Mainly, it's the key thing here is shared marketing management. Management is key. There's a lot of shared marketing that goes on out there, and there's these neighborhood associations. There's networking groups.
Sure.
But the thing is that's owner involvement. That the business owner has to put their time and be involved in that. And what is time to a business owner?
Money.
Big time. It's very expensive, especially as they grow and as they want to grow. And again, this is why those statistics are so key. Why only 40% are making a profit? Because when you're at that, I've always been that break-even girl. I can start a business like nothing.
Wow.
I can get myself busy. I can get my people paid, and I can get my expenses covered, and I can squeak out a living. But I never could get to that next step because I couldn't get the capital to bring on that person to replace me. And that's how you grow. You got to duplicate yourself to replace. Obviously, I was strong at getting out there and building a pipeline. But when you have to start pulling away from that pipeline to run a business, that's when things get tricky. When you have more employees, you're starting to grow, and then you have more existing clientele that you have to maintain. You can't focus on new business development as much. This is a very crucial part of business development.
It's the thing people don't think about too, is when I say I run a business that focuses on, lawn and garden or what have you, and I'm the one dealing with the different clients, and I decide, I'm going to step back and take time to manage the business and actually grow it. And then I allocate someone else to meet with the clients who used to be with me. They're going to say, where'd Russell go? I was the guy, he dealt with me.
Ooh, good point. Because it's relationship.
It's all about relationships.
It is. And the reason that a lot of the reason that I've had success with not just my own businesses, because I'm a good relationship cultivator. People know they can trust me, and I have integrity, and that's they want to do business with you. But when I worked for small businesses, I was able to take ownership, put myself in their position, and duplicate that for them, and be somebody that could attract the people to the business. But there was that delicate balance of handing them off. But that when you've got someone representing you, you create more prestige for yourself as the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like that. You don't want them meeting the owner too quick. And then by the time they meet the owner, I know the owner now. I like this relationship. So it was easier for him to let me go.
And it makes the client feel a lot better too.
Exactly. So there's a strategy there that's really, yes, exactly. And it should be that way, as you grow. It's just like a pastor of a church. Like the big churches, I hear people say, well, you can't get to the pasture anymore or something like that. I go, yeah, but there's a lot of little pastors that are around them that are, they can help you just as much. It's not, that it is a part of the growing process, and you have to get there. But then again, when you do get to talk to the main pastor, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
But it just creates a, what's the word I'm looking for? It just creates a
sort of an aura almost.
Yeah. There you go. And it's just part of growing. And it's a balance that I'm used to handling with handing off relationships. Where it did cause me issue, I will share one of my success stories with this concept, in that I had my own commercial construction company in Houston, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that's a tough market. And we're talking, I love Texas. I'm a Texas girl at heart. I choose to be in Tennessee. I love, I said, this is my third time back here, and I chose to be back here, and I'm here to stay. Until we take Cindy's Choice nationally, that is. I might have to, this will be my hub,
okay.
But I'll have to hop around a little bit, and I'll definitely be hopping back to Texas. But, and I don't mean this in a, that's a good old boy network. And to have this female come in there as a commercial contractor, and then to add on top of that I'm not a technical contractor. I do not read plans. I do not build buildings, or have that expertise. I can't. When I hand that framer or that HVAC tech or company a check, I have to trust that they did their job. I don't know how to go and see that they did everything they were supposed to.
Right.
Well, what this meant for me is that I had to have trusted subcontractors, or I could not be in business. And that's what I marketed. That's what I sold. I was very upfront with my clients in that, look, I'm not the technical expert. I focus on the prospects. So my guys are 100% focused on your projects. And they loved it. For one thing, I was honest and forthright. I carried the liability on the job. There's no way I was going to risk putting the wrong subcontractor on their job. And it worked. And I was being a general contractor, but actually in my mind, I was the marketer. I worked for the subs.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a marketing business, and I wanted to help small businesses, but I kind of hadn't got it figured out at that point, how to do it in a marketing capacity.
But yeah, you kind of did. You created a network of subcontractors.
Exactly. And what I became known as pretty quickly with project managers and developers and so forth was the go-to girl. They knew they could trust me. They knew, like a lot of times that would happen, they'd use my plumber on a job. So they call, hey, we want to use your plumber again. Will you bid this job? And hey, by the way, have you got a stucco guy? Have you got a storefront guy? And I'd be like, no, but let me get that for you. They knew I wasn't going to jump on Craigslist and find the first stucco guy I could find so I could bid that job. They knew I'd go invest my time into finding someone with integrity that would deliver, that I wanted a relationship with, that wouldn't risk my name or risk my liability. And then they trusted whatever I brought. And that's going to be the branding with Cindy's Choice. It's the same concept with grouping these businesses that complement each other, and they have the same target market, but you can have that one marketing representative out there that cultivates the relationships on behalf of the whole group. And they're doing this by, and they're sharing the cost, which again is like depending on the price points and how many are in the vertical, but around 75% savings, folks, with a lot of added value on top of that. This is huge for businesses. But what I absolutely love about this, Cindy's Choice can attract a higher skilled employee, because now with the shared concept, we can pay them more. Because I talk about the average employee in Tennessee being 45,000, but Chattanooga is still a little lower. That's increasing with the development that's going on here, but it's more around the 30-35 range.
And that's still nothing to sneeze at. Exactly.
But at the same time, when you've got people at the 30-35 range, they're spending half their time looking for another job on your dime.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can pay people well, they'll stick around. And the professional average goes up all the time. For years, they said you need to make $60,000 a year if you wanted to, have a secure lifestyle where, I hate using the word secure. There's no security in anything, but a somewhat secure lifestyle where you could have a savings, get your mortgage covered, pay for a car, have some, emergency funds and so forth like that.
And prepare for retirement.
But exactly. Thank you. And now they're saying that's gone up. That's like 75,000 a year that you need to make. That's why we have so many 2-income families. And that's why we have so many people in poverty. Because that's a tough goal.
And you have people who are overextending themselves beyond their means too. They take out loans they can't afford. They buy things they can't afford because they have to keep up the image. And I think they don't realize that a lot of people are also keeping up the image.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that. I love that you keep bringing that up, because that's a key thing. And that throws me right back to my personal story. And that's the reason, I was still, when I got out there and started working in Chattanooga without knowing a soul, I'd been gone back to Texas for 10 years. I was still couch surfing, but because I'm a very capable person, I've been a business owner. I present myself well. I'm very professional and knowledgeable. People, when I mention something about being homeless, their brows wrinkled. It really can. They're like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
it just doesn't make any sense.
I know, and I'm like, that's my message. That's a lot. What I'm called to do is help people understand. There's a lot of people out there like me. There's a lot of people that are very capable, and they run into some bad circumstances, and they have to depend on the government, or they get stuck in situations of making bad choices, which is a lot of my story. Hence Cindy's Choice. And there's just it gets real complicated. And that's why I need a show. So I've got plenty of time to talk about all this with you. So you got to hang with me, and you got to come back every Monday at 11 a.m. and listen to me here at AM 1240 and 92.7 FM, Nooga Radio. Again, I'm Cindy, and you can also catch us on YouTube. And where else?
We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Generally speaking, we post on Facebook. We'll be sharing your YouTube video on Facebook so people can watch it there. We're also on TuneIn. If you have the TuneIn radio app, you can actually download that app and you can listen to us live there. So if you ever somehow manage to get outside of our signal area, you can still keep listening. Maybe if you're just passing through, and obviously NoogaRadio.com.
Yes. And thank you again. That's Russell Stroud, who's here with me. He's the news director at Nooga Radio, and he's here as a new radio host support. And as technical support, he tells me which buttons to push. So, and I'm getting that down pretty good. I think I'll be able to catch on to this, but I'm going to probably be asking Russell to hang with me a little while, because he's real good company and he asks good questions.
Thanks.
Hey, so now to jump back over to the concept, we talked about, Cindy's Choice is shared marketing management for businesses. And I just explained how I demonstrated or proved this concept with a construction business. And I have other ways that I've proved it as well. But that's done a lot, where you have one person that's representing, I know it's done in manufacturing reps. once they can get in front of that decision maker, it's easier for them to rep, several different companies than just the one. But what Cindy's Choice is doing differently is we're creating a whole network. And I invite you, I don't have any time set up, but as we build a little momentum with this, I'm going to be doing some presentations so we can go into more detail. But start sharing with your friends that there's something really, really good happening in here in Chattanooga. This is going to be a pilot program to demonstrate the concept before it goes nationally. This is something that cities like Atlanta, where I'm from, Dallas and Houston, this will take off very easily once the model is set here in Chattanooga. And I was led here. I was led here to start this here. There's not a better place than Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I agree.
To start a relationship-based shared networking concept that's going to help entrepreneurs in such a big way. And I'm inviting you along on this journey, on this experiment with me. Again, it's not experimental in the way, will it work? Experiment is to demonstrate how it works. I've made it work before. What I'm doing differently now is just duplicating myself with a network of multiple verticals, which creates cross-networking, which creates more to share, which adds advertising, and there's all kinds of, it could add shared print and all kinds of advertising to these verticals, besides just the amazing value of a shared employee. Someone that's out there 100% focused on cultivating relationships for your business. I want to say that again, 100% focused. That's where I came up with the tagline, I focus on the prospects so you can focus on the projects. When salespeople have to pull away from their pipeline to manage jobs or close deals or whatever might pull them away, that pipeline starts closing. And when they get back out there, they're having to kind of start over every time. And when, big corporations they can have full-time marketing. They can build those pipelines full-time. And we want to create that for small businesses as well. So that's they're always growing and there's plenty of support there. And again, I mentioned relationships like with the incubator and the collab and different organizations here at town that offer types of support as well that I want to help people with. But Cindy's Choice is offering something a little different to complement what all of those organizations are doing.
And Chattanooga really has the mindset already for this kind of business. It's just that it hasn't been implemented yet. So here you are coming out of Texas to implement this thing that's Chattanooga's been ready for years.
Exactly. Timing is everything. And again, I can't wait to share more of the story of how I literally was led here. I didn't know it at the time. I sure didn't go homeless on purpose, but I can tell you there was a lot of purpose in me going homeless. It was a deeply rooted fear when you're really sick and you can't take care of yourself. To the point where you were a single mom, you had to give your children up. You've got some pretty deeply rooted fears of being homeless. And that causes you to make bad choices. And I got led here to finally face that fear head on. And folks, when you find that deepest rooted fear that's keeping you from moving forward and you face it head on, there is absolutely no stopping you. And that's where I'm at right now with Cindy's Choice. And I'm just spreading the word to get others on board who want to be a part of something that is truly going to make a difference. This is going to be fun. This is going to be an amazing experiment to be a part of. And again, you get involved as a business and you get immediate benefits. Yeah, you're contributing to the community. You're contributing to economic development by coming on board and helping your business. It's I love that.
It's so great.
Isn't that good? And that's something else I want to kind of touch on too, because that's what Cindy's Choice is. It's I can qualify. Capital investors will love this. I've been told that by the company lab and people at the incubators and people that know investors are like, Cindy, this is an awesome concept. Investors are going to love this. They're going to love you. They're going to love your story. They said, just go bootstrap it and get a team that they'll love. But guess what? If I'm going to go bootstrap it, then the community can be my investors and not through money, through involvement. The community involvement will allow me to give that 10% back to the community instead of back to the investors. And that's my goal here, is we can do this together. We can do something really awesome that's going to not just go national. I've already had people tell me, Cindy, this is needed in Kenya. This is needed in China. This is needed all over the world. This is going to be something that it doesn't just make a difference. It brings us back to relationships. We're getting away from that with social media and where technology's taking us. We have to be real on purpose about keeping the face-to-face, the people-to-people interaction. We can't, I love technology. I never want to sound like I'm not 100% for technology.
Right.
But we got to get back to relationship. And
there's a balance that has to be made, because a lot of what we do, and I'm sure a lot of what you do, couldn't be done without smartphones or without tech. But there's everything in moderation, as the Bible says, everything in moderation.
And again, you're listening to Cindy's Choice, the Cindy's Choice show on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM, Nooga Radio. And I'm here with Russell Stroud, our news director. I'm Cindy, and we're talking about how Cindy's Choice is to make a difference, and how we want some pioneers. I want some pioneers to come on board with me and be a part of allowing something really amazing to happen that you'll see touch and help me and tons of communities and truly make a difference worldwide. So I'd love to hear from you. My number is 423-661-4445. It's 423-661-4445, or email me at cindy@cindyschoice.com.
You threw sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
Well, you threw you're good. You threw a number at me that sort of made my eyes pop out. That was 75%. No, 75% is the amount that they're saving.
Savings, yes. Well, you heard that number, the $40,000 a year for an employee.
Right.
Okay, add the taxes, add the insurance, add the training, add the management, add the expenses, pay for their meals, pay for all that, add things for them to go to and be involved in. Get some support for a nonprofit that they need to go get involved in, which is yay, that's all good.
And those are all expenses.
Very conservatively, at the least, you've doubled your $40,000-$45,000. That's very conservatively. Most business people will say, "Oh, that's over $100,000 investment." But I like to keep, I just being conservative. That's a 50% savings. But it's way more than that. There's so much involved with having an employee. And when you can just pay a set price monthly, there's no commissions, there's no expenses, and someone's managing the management is including that. And the return is there quickly, because that's all these people do. They're just focused on going and finding you business.
Now, what's your email again, real quick?
Email me at cindy@cindyschoice.com.
And phone number?
423-661-4445.
Thank you very much, Cindy.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Need a tiller to get things going for the spring? Spiff up your porch, maybe your deck? Come on by and get a pressure washer at Action Rental. Family in town needs some tables and chairs for an event?